Happy New Year, everyone. This is Nick. You're listening to the weekly audio release of my novel, American Traditional. We're getting into Chapter 3. Leo and Sarah return to his loft with Magnus's package from the Copper Horse. We witness their nightly ritual in full, reckless abandon. Will this chemical-fueled night be their downfall? If you want to find out, patrons get chapters 1 week early without ads or the intro. So turn it up and kick back as we watch the night unfold.
Chapter 3. Cracks in the Eclipse. The package sat in his jacket pocket like a lead weight, pulling at his shoulder, throwing off his balance. Sarah walked beside him, her hands shoved deep in her jacket pockets, her breath visible in the late September air. They didn't speak. The silence between them felt different than it had an hour ago, heavier, loaded with questions neither wanted to ask. The loft sat above a boutique on Monroe Center, accessed through a side door and a narrow stairwell that always smelled faintly of cleaning products and old wood. Leo fumbled with his keys, his hands less steady than they'd been at the shop. The bourbon was wearing off. The baseline was dropping.
You okay?
Sarah asked.
Fine.
Leo said. He got the key in the lock on the second try, turned it, pushed the door open. Inside, the loft was exactly as they'd left it. Polished concrete floors, exposed brick. A wall of windows showing the city lights like a constellation map. Expensive furniture that looked good but felt uncomfortable. A drawing desk in one corner, cluttered with a tablet, stylus, and ink bottles. A well-stocked bar cart that saw more use than any other piece of furniture in the place. Leo went straight to it. He didn't bother with a glass at first, just uncapped the bourbon and took a long pull directly from the bottle. The heat was immediate, spreading through his chest, smoothing out the rough edges, bringing the baseline back up where it belonged. He exhaled hard, wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, and poured 3 fingers into a tumbler. Proper now, civilized. Sarah watched from the doorway. There was no judgment in her green eyes behind those dark-rimmed glasses, just a flat recognition. She'd seen this ritual 1,000 times.
You want one?
He asked, holding up the bottle. She shook her head, a small smile touching her lips.
I've got my own.
She dropped her bag on the Italian leather couch and pulled out a small velvet clutch. Black, elegant, expensive. She opened it on the glass coffee table, revealing not makeup but a tiny silver spoon, a small vial of white powder, and a rolled $100 bill. Leo sipped his bourbon and watched. He didn't disapprove. How could he? It was part of their aesthetic, part of the high-functioning, creative life they'd built. Her thing was cocaine. Clean, sharp, social. His thing was alcohol. Older, slower, more reliable. Different drugs for different needs. Sarah's movements were practiced, efficient. She tapped powder from the vial onto the glass table, used a credit card to form 2 neat lines. She bent over the first one, held her hair back with one hand, positioned the rolled bill with the other. A quick, sharp sniff. She tilted her head back, blinking rapidly, her pupils already starting to dilate.
God, I needed that.
She breathed. Her voice was lighter already, the worry from the bar seeming to evaporate. She gestured to the second line.
This one's for you. Take the edge off.
Leo looked at the line of powder, then at his bourbon, then at the package still sitting in his jacket by the door. The jacket he'd draped over a chair. Casual, like it didn't matter. The bourbon said everything was fine. The bourbon said he'd earned this. The bourbon said he was untouchable. He set his glass down and walked over. Bent down. The chemical burn hit his sinuses like fire, sharp and clarifying. He stood up, sniffing hard, feeling the drug hit his bloodstream like a switch being thrown. The anxiety about Magnus, about the package, about the line he'd just crossed, all of it melted away, replaced by a surge of bullish confidence.
See?
Sarah said, her smile wider now, brighter.
Nothing to worry about. You're Leo Crichton. You've got this.
He grabbed her and kissed her hard, tasting bourbon on his tongue and feeling the cocaine drip down the back of his throat.
Damn right I do.
The room felt sharper now, the colors brighter. His mind was racing, ideas flowing, connections sparking. This was the sweet spot, the place where bourbon and cocaine met and made him feel like a god. He stumbled to his drawing desk, the package completely forgotten. He grabbed his tablet, the screen glowing to life at his touch. He opened his drawing app, started a new canvas, grabbed the stylus.
I'm gonna design a sleeve for Magnus.
He announced, his words starting to run together.
Something that'll blow his mind. Something that'll make Sovereign look like fucking cave paintings.
Sarah curled up on the couch, watching him with hazy affection. She'd done her line, had her edge. Now she could just coast. Leo's stylus moved across the screen. Rough sketches at first, then more refined. An eagle. No, a phoenix. No, something original. Something that would cement his reputation. Something that would prove he didn't need the old ways, didn't need tradition, didn't need anything except talent and will. The stylus moved, the ideas flowed, the bourbon warmed, the cocaine sharpened. An hour passed, maybe two. Time felt elastic, unreliable. Leo finished his bourbon, poured another. Sarah did another line, then another. The vial was getting low. That was fine. She could get more. She always could. The tablet screen held 3 elaborate designs now, impossible detail, the kind of work that looked amazing at 2 in the morning and ridiculous in daylight. But Leo couldn't see that. The drugs wouldn't let him.
You're brilliant.
Sarah said from the couch. Her words were slightly slurred.
You know that? You're fucking brilliant.
I know.
Leo said. Not arrogance, just fact. The cocaine told him so. He stood up, stretched, felt the room tilt slightly. He steadied himself against the desk, laughed.
I'm drunk.
You're always drunk.
Sarah said, but she was smiling. No judgment, just observation.
I'm not drunk.
Leo corrected.
I'm maintained.
It was an old joke between them, one that had stopped being funny somewhere along the way, but they still told anyway. Leo walked to the windows, looked out at Grand Rapids spreading below him, his city, his kingdom. He pressed his hand against the cold glass. Somewhere out there, Magnus was probably back at the Copper Horse. The Brotherhood was drinking, laughing, living by their own rules. And Leo was part of that now. Connected, trusted, solid. Behind him, Sarah did another line. The scrape of the credit card on glass, the sniff, the exhale. By the door, forgotten, the package sat in his jacket pocket. He should get up, take it downstairs to ECLIPSE, put it in the safe like he'd promised. But moving felt impossible. The couch was right there. Sarah was warm beside him now, having moved from her spot to curl against his side. The bourbon was singing in his blood. The cocaine made everything feel urgent and pointless simultaneously.
We should sleep.
Sarah murmured against his shoulder. Leo checked his phone. 3:47 a.m. Geez, where had the time gone?
Yeah.
He said. His body felt wired and exhausted at once, the competing chemicals fighting for control. They made their way to the bedroom, stumbling slightly, holding each other up. Neither bothered undressing properly, just kicked off shoes, peeled off jeans, collapsed onto the bed in their shirts and underwear. The room spun. Leo closed his eyes, willing it to stop. Sarah curled against him, her breathing already evening out. She could always sleep, even wired. It was a gift Leo envied. He lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling his heart race from the cocaine, feeling the bourbon try to slow it down. The 2 drugs fought in his bloodstream like animals. The package. He should get up, should take care of it, should do what he'd promised. But the bed was too comfortable. The room was too spinny, and Sarah was warm against him, trusting, believing he had everything under control. He'd do it in the morning, first thing, before going to the shop. No problem. Everything was under control. His eyes finally closed. Sleep came in fits and starts. Chemical sleep, the kind that didn't refresh, just burned through time until the hangover arrived. Outside the bedroom, the loft stood silent. The city lights reflected off the wall of windows. The tablet sat on the drawing desk, screen dimmed, but still glowing faintly with 3 elaborate, impossible designs. The coffee table held an empty vial and residue. And by the door, draped over a chair in plain view of anyone who might look through the windows, Leo's jacket hung. the package in the pocket, forgotten, waiting. The chemicals had promised them invincibility. The chemicals had lied. But Leo wouldn't know that until morning, until the sun came through those windows like an accusation, until the intercom buzzed and a flat, professional voice said 6 words that would end everything.
Grand Rapids Police, open the door.
But that was tomorrow. That was the future. That was the consequence waiting at the end of all this pride and bourbon and cocaine. Tonight, Leo Crichton slept in his loft, in his kingdom, still believing he was untouchable, still believing the edge was far away, still believing he had time.